Hello everyone, welcome back to the HCW YouTube channel. My name is Dan, DP, or others might know me as D to the point Z. And I am here once again with one of our UK indie show reviews. So this time around, it was me. I attended Revolution Pro Wrestling's Revolution Rumble event held in York Hall in Bethnal Green, one of, dare I say, the best venues in the UK. Despite its security problems. But no, so let's talk about it. So we are covering the Revolution Rumble event from York Hall, Revolution Pro Wrestling event. This is the first York Hall show they've done this year. Maybe not. I don't know. I feel like they might have done one before, which is quite surprised because they normally have something in January. But they did not this year, or at least according to Cage Match, they didn't. uh, but yeah, moving on from that. So this was a show that was headlined by the Rumble itself, which was the exact same format: 30 people enter at timed intervals, and the winner gets their epic encounter, which would presumably be a world title match against the current world title holder, which would be between the match that we have in the show, Great O'Khan, current champion, defending against Ricky Knight Jr. So, without any further ado, let's get into the card. So, we start things off with Dan Maloney taking on Francesco Akira. Originally, it was meant to be, well, presumably, Maloney and Ospreay, but because Ospreay got an injury, he's forced to pull out, and we've had the replacement of Francesco Akira. So the match itself, it's very fast paced, as you would expect from a Dan Maloney match, and obviously if you're familiar with Francesco Akira, you know his style as well. The junior style with a lot of pace and a lot of striking and flying. But towards the end of the match, we'll go a bit more into it. Akira attempts an Oz cutter. His foot sort of slips on the rope. They do want to recover from that though. And then they transition once again into Akira hitting an Oz cutter on Maloney. Akira then goes for a Meteora to the back of Maloney's head, but he misses, which then enables Dan to hit the Driller Killer on Akira for a 2. He then gets him up again, does it again for the 3. This was a very good match, a very good opener. I rated it 3.5 star. Using the old rate system there, but that's how I rated it. This was a very good match, as I said. It was obvious who was going to win, just because it was a replacement anyway. So you knew who was going to win going into this match. And traditionally, with the New Japan / RevPro, how you want to call it, style, juniors don't go over heavyweights. In which case, I would assume Dan is a heavyweight compared to Akira. I could be wrong. I don't know. But following the match, Ospreay gets in the ring. He talks to Akira. Akira is looking down, distraught, defeated, and he basically takes like an armband, I think from his pocket or something, and he hands it to Dan Maloney. They both leave. Dan considers his options. He looks around, sees the reaction from the crowd, and to everyone's surprise, he does actually take the armband. He puts on the armband and he throws up the crown, the United Empire crown. Very. I mean, to me, I was not expecting this. It's very shocking, very unique sort of thing to happen here. I didn't have Maloney joining United Empire whatsoever. Part of me still thinks it's some part of a ploy from Dan to get into United Empire to sort of break it from within. To then eventually get Ospreay at some point in the future where they would then fight in a one-on-one scenario. But hey, I could be wrong. Either way, it's exciting stuff, and hopefully we do see Dan in Japan, because his style is so hard hitting and intense that it would be a very good match to see him taking on the sorts of if he's a junior, like Hiromu, Takahashi, El Desperado, like Taiji Ishimori, Robbie Eagles. There's a whole bunch of names out there that he could face. Or the heavyweights. Obviously, you have the likes of somewhere like Sanada. You've got like Tai Chi, Tanahashi, Okada. Like there's a bunch of guys he could face and have good matches with. So hopefully, we get more from this, and it's not just a ploy from Maloney. But we'll see. Going into the future. As I said, 3.5 star. Very good opener. Great way to start things off. So go into the next match of the night, which is for the Queen of Southside Championship. So champion Danny Luna defends against the villainess Sky Smithson, who's part of the Legion. She's accompanied to the ring by Lucian Phillips, who's like the typical henchman or bodyguard sort of role for the Legion, and Gideon Grey by extension. So it's important to note here that Danny Luna and Sky Smithson have been feuding since Live in London 70, which is the last RevPro show I attended. They fought a couple of times for the title. Danny coming out on top both times. So we're here once again for the third match, the somewhat of a rubber match, I guess. But yeah. So we get into the match itself. As you expect with these two women, very intense. A lot of hard strikes back and forth. Towards the end of the match, Sky removes the knee brace of Danny, which doesn't do too much at the time, as Danny able to kick her away, and that's fine. Eventually, Danny hits a sidewinder powerbomb onto Sky for a 2. However, Sky targets the knee more and more, which takes Sky down, takes Danny down, sorry, and she hits a flurry of moves and then hits a crossroads. Again, sorry Sky, I don't know the name of the move. It's the crossroads as we typically know it on the mainstream media for the 3. And we get a brand new Queen of Southside champion in Sky Smithson, being another title to bring to the Legion, which is very surprising. Very surprising. I don't know what it was. I didn't see Sky win this match, but I am glad she did. I'm very happy for her. The Queen has a title, has got a new holder, and we will now see what that leads to. Will that lead to more Luna Smithson matches, or will it lead to Sky doing something entirely different? We do not know, and we will see. So we now go into the third match of the night, which would have been a match that was announced. However, we got a surprise in which we got a video appear on the Titantron at the screen at the back, where we see a mystery man talking to the camera until he takes his hood off and then takes like the face bandana down, and it is Lio Rush. He's here in RevPro. He talks about how he was promised a cruiserweight title match last time he was there, and now he's cashing it in tonight. Last night. So right now, at this point, we're getting a impromptu, undisputed British Cruiserweight Championship match between champion Robbie X and challenger Lio Rush. I should say so. I rated Smithson Luna 3 stars. 3 stars. 3 stars. So yeah, Robbie X and Lio Rush. This match was unexpected, impromptu, surprise. The first of presumably many, which you could say. But between the two of them, there's a lot of there's a very smooth flow between them, a lot of chemistry, extreme speed, as you would expect from these two. But towards the end of the match, Leo misses a splash and Robbie hits a lethal injection. Again, I don't know what it's called. I'm sorry, Robbie. He has a lethal injection, only for a 2, however. They go forward a bit more and they do the same thing again when Leo misses another splash. and then Robbie hits lethal injection again, and that gets the 3. So these two are now 1-1. Before Leo beat Robbie, and now Robbie's beaten Leo. So now they are due a 1 more match at some point in the future, presumably for the title again. I don't know, but yeah, should be a very fun match when we do see it again. So this match I rated, according to my notes here, I rated it. Where's it on? 4.25 star. 4.25 star. I rated this. This was a very fun match. Very high pace, very speedy. It was exactly the kind of match that you would put at this spot, if not at the opener. But I get why they did put it in the opener because of the surprise. Leo Rush got an amazing reception from the crowd after who's not seen him for a little while in RevPro. As did Robbie X. I mean, as soon as we got the match, everyone went crazy. We all knew it was going to be an absolute barn burner match, and these two did not disappoint whatsoever in York Hall, in RevPro, on this spotlight. It was fantastic. But enough praise in that match. We move on to the next bit of praise that I have to give, which is to the next match of the night. It was the first half main event, as we get the match that the company had announced as the very first thing when they started advertising the show. Michael Oku, one of the modern day foundations of RevPro, taking on, returning to RevPro, returning to BritWres as a general, I'd say, Zack Sabre Jr., the technical wizard, technical master, modern day best technical wrestler on the planet. But the match itself had a lot of hype to live up to because, again, it was the first thing announced, and these two names are phenomenal athletes in their own rights, in different styles, of course. So we get a few spots here and there, but the main things I've got here is Oku attempts the Fosbury flop, which is it's sort of like his high jump, like in the Olympics, over the ropes onto someone. He goes for that, but he's caught by a cravat from Zack, which was amazing. As the match goes on, Zack does more limb offense, which we're used to seeing from the pair of them, from Zack. Sorry. Eventually, he goes for Oku's right arm, which is heavily taped up, and he goes for that, and he destroys that arm systematically, completely just going for it whenever he could. Oku fights back though, eventually with his legs. He's beginning to lose the feeling and lose the use of his right arm, which would obviously be a measure, a countermeasure if Oku was to hit the half grab, because he uses both hands and arms to control the limb and to hold it in place. We get an exchange of submissions between the two of them. However, Zack is able to lock in it's like a shoulder trap arm wrench. It looked bloody brutal. Like the arm sort of pulls back more than you would think it would. But Oku does get to the ropes. As we get towards the end of the match, though, Zack gets a body sleeper onto Oku, who then reverses it into a half crab. Because he can't fully lock in the half crab, though, Zack gets to the ropes. Zack is later able to trap Oku's taped arm in another submission hold. And eventually, after about a minute of just uncomfortable viewing, Oku does. See, Oku either taps out or the referee calls it. I'm not 100% sure what the call was there. But yeah, either way, Zack gets the win via ref stoppage or via submission. I don't know what the actual result was, but it was one of those two, and Zack wins. Fantastic match. I'll keep saying this probably, but like these two are two of my absolute favorites in wrestling as a whole. Like, I want like the world for Michael Oku. Like, the guy is so good, so talented. He should be on a bigger platform than what RevPro is. But he's the modern day foundation. One of the modern day foundations of Revolution Pro Wrestling. So I absolutely understand why he chooses to stay there, and why Andy and the booking team decide to keep him there and book him there on a regular basis. I absolutely understand that. Post match though, Zack says he's back in RevPro. He mentions how Oku talked about how he came back for clout and that he fought Oku to get the clout. And then Zack just says, "No, you prick! Like this is not how it works. You know, I came back because he wanted to win titles and stuff again. He came back basically not because he needed Brit Rest. He came back because Brit Rest needed him." Which I thought was a very nice line and starting to lead into the Rumble itself, for which Oku and Zack are both announced for. But yeah, we get a strong win there for Zack. I rated this 4.5 star. This just pips Robbie and Leo, even though it immediately followed. So either way, it's more a case of just one was just slightly better than the other, but they're both fantastic matches. You know, I can't really go much more into it, I guess, but it is what it is. Sorry, but so after the interval, we go into the second half of the show, which is headlined, as I keep saying, by the Revolution Rumble itself. So we go into the undisputed British Heavyweight Championship match between champion Great-O-Khan and challenger Ricky Knight Jr. Great-O-Khan won the title back in December Uprising, when Ricky couldn't defend the title, and Zack Knight, his uncle, had to step in and defend it for him, which O-Khan then won that way by beating Zack. And now O-Khan is the champion, and has been since December. It's kind of weird. I don't really understand it myself, but it is what it is now. And Ricky's now getting revenge on O-Khan and on the Legion for their actions and taking the title, and basically stripping the Knight family of any RevPro titles. So here we go. This match, I will be honest, it dragged for me. It absolutely dragged. We were given a shorter interval. We were meant to get 30 minutes, but because of stuff earlier, we only got 10 minutes. And the match followed on from the absolute classic in Zack Sabre Jr. and Michael Oku. There was no real way this match was going to follow on and still have a good reception. But again, into the match itself, Great-O-Khan jumps RKJ before the bell. We get a lot of chokes and attacks. We get Gideon, he gets involved a few times. He's bumped by Ricky Knight Jr., so we're getting that sort of what's the word? We're getting that sort of revenge for Ricky onto Gideon. Later on, the ref ignores any calls for a DQ, and Gideon is sent running into O-Khan, even though that is technically a DQ because Gideon attacked O-Khan, so that would be a DQ. But the referee says no. Ricky gets a table, sits up on the outside, and now we're playing the game of who's gonna go through the table. Is it gonna be Ricky? Is it gonna be Great-O-Khan? Is it gonna be Gideon? Is it gonna be someone else in the crowd? Is it gonna be the referee? We don't know. But no, Ricky is about to go for a top rope move, but Gideon intercepts him and distracts him. O-Khan saves himself, goes from behind, and pushes Ricky from the top of the turnbuckle to the table to the outside. Yeah, so we get back in the ring after this. O-Khan hits a few more moves, but ultimately Ricky hits an island driver, which only gets 2. Gideon causes more destruction on the outside. He then gets thrown out by the ref. And as he's getting thrown sent to the back by the contenders and the some of the refs and whatever, someone in the hood jumps the crowd, goes into the ring, kendo stick in hand, and he whacks Ricky Knight Jr. over the head with it. Big guy this is as well. We're not entirely sure who this is, but this guy just come and he's whacked Ricky over the head. And he takes his hood, and he reveals it's Rampage Brown. Rampage Brown is back in Revolution Pro Wrestling, and he is helping his former teammate, or I guess now current teammate, Great Okan, who was at the time Tomoyuki Oka. Pardon me. But yeah, these two are now together again. Rampage is back in the Legion. Rampage is here once again in RevPro, and he has cost Ricky Knight Jr., or at least seemingly cost Ricky Knight Jr. this match. Following on from that, Okan picks up Ricky, hits his finisher, and then that's it. Okan retains, and we just basically find out that Ricky Knight Jr. and Rampage Brown are going to fight in the future at some point. Probably. Maybe. I did point out to people around me that now, because Ricky's lost, he's probably going to win the Rumble. Or at least appear in it at the very least. But the match itself, like I said before, it dragged for me. It was poor positioning on the card. The shortened interval didn't help. Everything felt rushed. Everything felt a bit forced. Ultimately, Ricky Knight Jr. should have won, in my opinion. But it is what it is. And the champion is still Great Okan, and he will hold title at the very least until May, where he'll then fight, assumedly, the winner of the Revolution Rumble itself. So, now we go into the main attraction. Now we go into the Rumble itself. As I alluded to, this is a 30-man Rumble. Everyone enters in timed intervals other than 1 and 2, who start the thing off. This is a whole mix, a whole flurry of, the old guard of Brit Wres, up and comers, present stars, the future, like the past. There's a mixture of everything for everyone, and yeah, let's just get into it, I guess, and just see what happens. So we kick things off with number 1, Leon Slater, and number 2, Cameron Kai. Cameron Kai has been someone who's recently, I don't want to say graduated, because I don't entirely think that's true, but they were part of the contenders division, or they're on the rise basically, and they've been involved in the last few RevPro shows where they've been involved in matches. But yeah, these two are starting things off with Slater and Kai, and they go at it for a bit. Outcome number 3, it's Gideon Gray. He's here. He gets beaten up a bit by Kai and Slater. That's about it, really. And then he goes to the outside. Number 4, Will Caven. Caven is someone who has been fighting recently for the Cruiserweight title among the likes of Connor Mills, Robbie X, and Dan Maloney. But Caven comes in. He basically gets involved. He attacks people, attacks Slater and Kai. Eventually, there comes a bit where Kai is sent to the outside. Gideon comes back in and he bites Kai's hand to break his grip. And then as he does that, Caven grabs Kai and hits a Snapdragon suplex onto the apron, eliminating Cameron Kai from the match, and Kai being the first person eliminated in this match. Number 5 comes out. It's Blake. This is someone who has very recently come to RevPro. Big lad, good potential. Not many people knew who this guy was due to the lack of reaction the guy got, but ultimately, this is the greatest place in wrestling to sort of make yourself known, make a name for yourself. But no, Blake's here. He does a few spots, and then we go on to number 6. Number 6 is Kid Lycos. We're still unsure if he's a heel or a face here. He comes in though, does some attacks, and again, we go on to the next entrant because there's not much going on at this point. It's just a lot of attacks, and there's nothing really Now comes number 7. I had no idea who this was when I heard the theme. People around me knew who it was though. I didn't. So all I hear is 7, 7, 7, 7. And I'm like, okay, cool. Who is this theme about numbers? And sure enough, out comes Trent 7. And I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. But one again, like I said before, with the surprise over for Neo Rush, like this is another big surprise, and I don't think anyone knew about this one. Like there are others you can sort of guess. I don't think anyone particularly guessed Trent 7 would be at this Rumble, but no, he's here. A very big surprise, very big name to have in this. He comes in, goes wild, does his gimmick with the towel. He gets the towel off his neck, throws it onto the ropes, and then he gets attacked by Blake. But they fight. Blake then gets eliminated by Trent 7 after a clothesline. And then Caven gets eliminated by Trent 7 after a big chop. Now we're on to number 8. Gabriel Kidd. Now, after years in the dojo, now finally the Kid's uncaged. He is here. He does some attacks. But as he enters, Lucian Phillips comes out and he attacks Trent 7. So he pulls him out of the ring, not over the top. He pulls him out bottom. So Trent is still in this match. He's been beaten up now by a Legion. At the same time, we get a feud between Gideon and Lycos. Not too sure what happens here, except that Gideon attempts to use the cane on 7. And then Lycos prevents this from happening. And then he chases Gideon out the ring. Again, not over the ropes, through the ropes. And both of them run to the back. So they both ran from the match. I don't know. We get on to number 9 of the match, which was Francesco Akira, who is the first of the returnees of this match from the previous matches. I mean, Akira comes out, goes on the hot streak, and then we go on to number 10. Number 10, which was the first, I want to say comedic pop that we got. It was Double Action, Sean Action Jackson, former contender, graduated fairly recently. But he's the only guy in this match to get a mic during his entrance and cut a promo. So he talks about how he has the most eliminations in the RevPro Rumbles and that he's the Iron Man in 2 of those. For those who don't know, the Portsmouth Training School RevPro regularly hosts contender rumbles, where they showcase up and coming, uprising talents on the scene they have in the school, that is, and yeah, he mentions how he's the Iron Man of 2 of those, and he got the most nominations. He comes in, he leapfrogs Gabriel Kidd while shouting Double Action on the mic. However, he's then thrown out by Francesco Akira. So he came in just as quickly as he spoke. And then he left. Number 11, we have JJ Gale, another one of the former contenders class who graduated recently. JJ Gale's here, and this is his first York Hall show. His first York Hall wrestling, anyway, in a wrestling capacity. He comes out again, just a hot flurry for a little bit, and then he comes number 12. If you couldn't guess who it would be, you're not following. It's Callum Newman, JJ Gale's former tag team partner in their tag team of Gale and Newman. These two don't really interact at first. They just sort of do their own thing, but eventually they do. However, JJ Gale hits a Canadian Destroyer onto Francesco Akira and then throws him out. Then Newman and Gale work together, and they work together to throw out Leon Slater. And then they give a little handshake and a hug, and then they begin to fight themselves, recognizing that they're not enemies, but they're also looking to get the same thing out of this match, which is a win and ultimately a world title match. Number 13 is Luke Jacobs. Luke Jacobs is here. He comes in, again, hot streak. Gideon Gray comes back at this point. He comes running back to the ring, and he tries to eliminate everyone in the match by trying to throw them over in the slowest way possible. He does it and no one's eliminated. He thinks he's won. The comedian spot for me is Gideon thinking that he's won the match, or at least won this section of the match. And then there's Lucian who's looking at him from the outside and saying, "They're not eliminated. They're not eliminated." And then Gideon turns around and he gets beaten up by the remaining 5 in the ring. And then before he gets too badly hit on, he does a suicide dive onto Lucian Phillips to save himself through the ropes. Okay, cool, I guess. But no, number 14 is Chris Bronson. Stallion, Chris Bronson, I should add. He comes in, we get a hot streak. Gale and Newman work together to take Bronson down. So they actually work together this time to do it. And they're seemingly rekindling that tag team flame that they had. Pardon me. Callum once again offers a handshake to JJ. JJ takes it, and then Callum tries to eliminate him. Doesn't work though. Number 15 is Eddie Dennis. For those who don't know, Eddie Dennis has said previously, actually on the last review I did for RevPro, Eddie Dennis said that if he did not win the Revolution Rumble, that he would retire from BritWres and pro wrestling as a whole. So hot fly for Eddie as he gets in. He takes out Trent Seven with a fisherman slam, from the second rope. Following on from this, though, Trent Seven is then eliminated by Luke Jacobs after Luke runs up behind him and throws him out. Number 16 is a Big Damo. At this point, we're getting to the big man section of the Rumble. Big Damo, he has the few exchanges with Dennis, and then eventually Callum Newman is eliminated by Dennis after he tries to interfere with Damo and Dennis. Out comes number 17. Sorry, it's Joshua James, one of the current contenders in the contenders division. So he won the Contenders Revolution Rumble tournament, which is a mini 4-person tournament. But he basically beat Samuel Hawks in the semi-finals, and then he beat Yota Tsuji in the final to earn the spot in this match. It was quite impressive when you think about it, because it could have been Yota Tsuji who was in the Rumble, but he lost, so he couldn't be in this, which was quite interesting. But number 18, Zach Knight, he's here. He comes in, and then Chris Bronson is eliminated by Zach Knight after a knockout blow. So he just punches him in the face, down goes Bronson, and then Bronson's thrown out of him by Zach. Number 19, Robbie X. Robbie X is here to bring some speed and some fatigue to the match. But no, Robbie X does a odd sort of like person-assisted Hurricane Rana. So he like jumps onto like Zach Knight's shoulders, then Eddie Dennis' shoulders, and then Big Damo's shoulders. And then from there he jumps onto Joshua James to hit a Hurricane Rana. The Hurricane Rana is held in the powerbomb position until they get to the ropes, and then Robbie flips Joshua over the ropes and out. But he stays in. Number 20, Zack Sabre Jr. Another one of the people who've had a match already this night tonight. He's here. He immediately has a stare down and a exchange of kid instantly. Number 21, we then go into Jordan Breaks, who is a modern, newer, technical wrestler. But no, Jordan Breaks is a phenomenal guy. I've seen him wrestle at Purpose. He's the current Purpose World Champion as well. He is a great wrestler. Like great mind for the business as well. Like he's so receptive and he's really learning. But yeah, it's always fun to see him at RevPro. It's always fun to see him interact with certain people, and to see him interact with Zack Sabre Jr. That is the dream, to have that match. But we'll see what happens. At this point, Zack Knight and Big Damo fight on the outside of the ring. They're fighting, they're going to come back in eventually. Number 22, TK Cooper, one half of the greatest team, TK and Mambo Sunshine Machine. He's here. Interestingly enough, he's in his solo gear rather than tag team gear. I don't know if that meant anything in particular, but yeah, it was just interesting to see. Anyway, so everyone's in the ring at this point, and TK headbutts every single person in this match. Except for Damo. Damo is still standing after the headbutt, and he gets a Samoan splash and a scissor kick for Shovels. We then get a technical hold off between Zack Sabre Jr. and Jordan Breaks. I can't remember who they had in the moves, but they had double abdominal stretches on both these other two guys, and they both like hit each other at the same time while they're doing these submission moves, which is a fun little thing. I'll put a little video somewhere, but yeah, that's basically what happened there. Suddenly, well, I say suddenly, Jordan Breaks is then eliminated by Zack Sabre Jr. after an armbar goes astray. 23 is one half of the Greedy Souls, Danny Jones. He comes out. He doesn't do anything. He's just standing at the ringside right now. He's not approached the ring or anything. Then, as that's happening, Zack is then thrown out surprisingly by JJ Gale. JJ Gale comes up from behind Zack and throws him out of the ring just like that. At this point, Zack is pissed off and he runs back in the ring and attacks JJ, taking him out. So this was very much the Taker Maven spot from 2002. Where an up-and-comer eliminates a well-known person. So that was JJ's moment, and that'll be something that JJ can, brag about, that he eliminated Zack Sabre Jr. from a Rumble match. After this, so after Zack takes out JJ, 24 is Brendan White, the other Greedy Soul. So Brendan comes out, he meets Danny at the ramp, and then they both go in together. So that's what Danny was doing. He was waiting for Brendan to come out next. They work together, as they would do, because they're a tag team, and go straight for JJ Gale, who they work together and throw him out of the ring. They then grab Zack Knight and do the same thing, and throw him out. That's now eliminated. And then they begin to target TK, and they got him to a point where he's on the apron, on the apron, holding on for dear life, and the Greasers are trying to get rid of him. At this point, we get 25, Chuck Mambo, the other half of the Sunshine Machine. He comes out, runs to the ring, attempts to help TK, but he's just a second too late, as TK falls to the ground before Chuck even gets to the ring. So TK is out of the Rumble. But he tells Chuck to go for it, go get it, win for Sunshine Machine, you can do it. Eventually, after TK is eliminated, Chuck is also then eliminated by the Greedy Souls, which was quite an interesting call, in my opinion. Number 26, Michael Oku. Comes out, he's ready for a fight. He comes in and annihilates the entire field in the ring. And then that leaves just him in the ring to wait for number 27, which is Connor Mills. These two have a brief standoff in the ring before other things happen. Connor comes in, attacks Oku with the Cruiserweight title, then attacks Robbie X with the Cruiserweight title, and then he grabs Robbie X and throws him over the top rope. And Robbie X is eliminated when Mills super kicks him from the apron. ANS at this point goes to eliminate Gideon, but he can't do it because Gideon's a bit slippery. Suddenly, Lacos returns. He returns to the match, and he returns to help out ANS with Gideon. And then Lacos suddenly grabs his mask, grabs his head, mask, whatever, and he unmasks to reveal himself as Mark Andrews, the FSU tag partner of ANS. These two still work together, but the odd thing here is, was he Lacos from the beginning? Or was he not Lacos, and was Lacos taken out backstage by Mandrews? No idea. But no, out comes number 28. It's Rampage Brown. He's here. He comes in and he causes havoc. He comes in, eliminates Mandrews / Kid Lacos, whatever, and then also goes ahead and eliminates Big Damo after a big boot. We then go on to number 29 in the match, which is Ricky Knight Jr. RKJ. He comes in, and as you would expect, he comes in and he cleans house. He eliminates Brendan White, he eliminates Danny Jones, and he eliminates Rampage Brown. After he eliminates Rampage, Rampage causes a distraction, which allows Michael Oku to take advantage of this, and RKJ is then eliminated by Michael Oku. After this, RKJ and Rampage fight on the outside for a little bit, fighting on the walls and the pillars and stuff like that. And then we get Oku and Mills, who are in the ring doing the fight for the outside spot as well. Neither have been eliminated at this point, but we got one more entrant left in this match to go through, which would be number 30, one of the olden kings. Not olden kings, one of the older, like the old guard kings of York Hall. It's only Shah Samuels, oi oi! But no, he comes out, former Legion member, comes out and then agrees to team up with Lucian and Gideon against the others. But then he turns around and he just pelts Gideon. And then Gideon Grey is finally eliminated by Adonis after Shah allowed Eddie to eliminate him. At this point, no, Shah Samuels doesn't get much attack in, and then he's thrown out by Connor Mills. At this point, we are now at the final 5 in the Revolution Rumble. We are down to Luke Jacobs, Dennis, Gabriel Kidd, Connor Mills, and Michael Oku. Dennis attempts a next stop driver onto Oku, but Oku prevents that. Goes into a pump handle carry, and then both Dennis and Oku go over the ropes. Oku enziguris Dennis on the apron, and that sends him back into the ring, and then sends Dennis on wobbly legs. Oku then goes to get Dennis off the apron, and Mills steps in to prevent this, because obviously Mills has been an advocate for Dennis to not retire. Instead of then supporting Dennis, Mills turns around and then knocks Eddie off the apron and out of the match, essentially retiring Dennis himself. So now we're in the final 4. Once again, we get Connor Mills and Michael Oku going at it, and they both need to get eliminated as well by doing this as well. We then go into the corner, where Michael Oku is sent to the corner by Connor Mills. Connor Mills goes for a move onto Oku, but Oku reverses it, ducks down, and throws Connor over, and Connor falls to the ground and is then eliminated. At this point, we're down to the final 3: Michael Oku, Lou Jacobs, and Gabriel Kidd. Jacobs and Kidd agree to work together and team up on Oku. They do a bit of teaming up, and then they do more moves onto Oku. Eventually, though, Luke Jacobs is eliminated by Gabriel Kidd, because Kidd either gets greedy or cocky or confident, whatever, and then he decides that he no longer needs Jacobs to be in the match. So he goes ahead and eliminates Jacobs from the match. So we're down to final 2. We're down to someone who is very much RevPro's present, and someone who is also RevPro's present. We have Michael Oku, and we also have Gabriel Kidd. We get an exchange between the two of them. Oku is mainly on the defensive here, but he's getting them very much spaghetti legs. For some reason here, Kidd, instead of keeping up the offense, he grabs a mic somewhere, I don't know why. And then he proceeds to cut a promo on Oku or himself, I don't know. But he basically just starts saying the lyrics to his song. And then that's about it, really. And then he puts the mic down. Oku eventually fights back. But Kidd was looking at guillotine on the turnbuckle. So Oku is then sent to the apron, but he holds on. He's just very weak. Kidd then nails him with 2 more super kicks, which leaves Oku like sort of scrambling to get back to his feet on the apron. And then as Gabriel was setting up for his 3rd kick to eliminate Oku, Oku springboards into the ring and hits his own super kick onto Gabriel Kidd. Kid is sent reeling back to the ropes, and then he is clotheslined by Oku, and Oku sends Kid over the top rope, and Kid's eliminated. So we finally have our winner, Michael Oku, who has finally won the chance to become world champion. I would assume this is going to happen in May at the Epic Encounter show, and it should be a fun match. Ultimately, we are finally going to get, in my opinion, anyway, we're finally going to get the Michael Oku world title run that we've been waiting for. Probably since 2021, 2019, maybe? I don't know. But it's been a while that we've been waiting for this to happen, and it does seem that it might finally be happening. Speaking of, though, immediately after the match, he's confronted by a Legion, and more specifically, Great Okan. They have a stare down, and then that officially ends Revolution Pro Wrestling's Revolution Rumble. I thoroughly enjoyed this entire thing. The World Title match was a bit of a drag for me, but it is what it is. But yeah, I've been Dan, DP, D3Z, and as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing if you do. Our socials are up. No, that way. Yes, the are up there in that corner. And also my Twitter is beneath me here. If you want to follow me as well, I absolutely appreciate that. But yeah, that is all for me. And I will see you at the next one. Peace.